This is ChatGPtopia, a city that was designed, built, and styled by ChatGPT. It's a semicircular utopia, as ChatGPT would like you to call it, that involves mixed-use residential and commercial districts towards the center and industrial districts towards the exterior. Before that, I also had Bard, Google's generative AI, build a similar utopian city. Bard's city was very similar to ChatGPT's, but was instead circular. In this video, we're going to complete the trifecta, and I am going to have perhaps the strangest AI of them all, Bing, build its very own utopia, and then we are going to compare all three AI cities, see which one is the best and which one is the worst. Hello everyone, I am your host Nick, and here is Bing, which is going to be creating yet another AI utopia for us today. I'm going to try to give it similar prompts to the ones that I gave the other two services, and we're going to see what pops out. So first, let's start with the opener. Hello there. Start out as Obi-Wan Kenobi. I would like you to design for me a city, let's say utopia in cities' skylines. Please begin by specifying the overall, I can't spell today, the overall layout of the city. Goodness gracious, of the city. So if you haven't watched the other two videos, Bard, Google's AI, chose a circular city, and ChatGPT, which is by OpenAI, chose a semicircular city, which still doesn't make sense to me. Which one? Which one do you prefer? So it suggested circular, grid, radial, or natural. I'm going to say I would like you to choose. Let's see what it says. I put it in the creative mode. Bing has different personalities. And creative I figured would be best. It has chosen the circular layout, reduces traffic congestion and pollution by minimizing travel distances. Do I agree with your choice? Yes, that sounds great. Now I would like you to tell me how to build the road systems for this city. For this city. Let's see what Bing says. All right, let's talk about road systems. So I'll wait for it to finish here, but it looks like it's saying a similar, so you will need to create concentric rings of roads that connect the center of the city with the outer edges. You will also need to create radial roads that cut through the rings and provide access to different areas of the city, and you will need to create some... Oh. Well, there goes Bing. Hang on, let me get that back. Okay, we're back. That was very strange, but we're good now. So it says we've got our concentric roads, we got our radial roads. It also says diagonal roads that create shortcuts and build alternative routes for traffic. That's going to be a fun one. So let's ask, how many lanes should the concentric roads have? How many for the diagonal, or for the radial? How many for the diagonal? Which I don't really understand, but we'll figure it out. Okay, it better not say it's your choice. 6 lanes, 2 lanes, 4 lanes. Okay, that's pretty good. So 6 lanes for the highways that form the outermost ring of the city. 4 lanes for the radial roads that cut through so all the rings are going to be 6 lanes, and then 2 lanes for the diagonal roads. Very interesting. Okay, let's say we have zoning power. We can make commercial, office. I have spelling issues. Oh, there it goes again. I don't know why it keeps doing that. Office. What are the other ones? Industrial and what? I have to fight with it, I guess. Residential districts. How should we place these districts within these districts? Oh my god. Districts within the circular city. Little did you know when you clicked on this video that you would watch me try to spell words and fail. Okay, so okay. Interesting. Okay, I don't need pictures. Okay, so it says mixed-use development, which we've seen all three AIs say. So it wants us to combine residential, all three. Interesting. It reduces, or all four, rather. You could divide it to several sectors or wedges. Okay, this is interesting. So this would be, so we'll do quarters, right? Well, actually, it says a central sector. So the center area of the city will have the city hall, the museum, the library, the stadium. Okay. Educational and research in the north. The southern would have low density residential, commercial, eastern, western. Interesting. Okay, this is the most specific that any of the three AIs have been about what we should put. So that's pretty cool. What else should I ask about? What forms of public transportation should we include? And how should we connect to the highway? And then, once it answers this, we will get into the actual city building part. There are many forms of public transportation that you can include in your city, such as buses, trams, metros, trains, and monorails. Each one has its own advantages and disadvantages. Okay. Whatever. A cloverleaf interchange that connects the highway with the outermost ring road of the city. Okay, a trumpet interchange? Man, I feel like this would be a really useful tool for like civil engineers and like highway engineers. Okay, so we have been given our specifics by Bing here. I may ask it a few more questions as I build the city just to flesh things out, but I feel like it's given us a pretty good blueprint here. So I'm going to go ahead and hop over into City Skylines. We're going to be on the same map as the last two, and I'm going to try to build this city, and then we're going to compare it to Bing's, or not Bing's. I keep getting confused, to ChatGPT's city and Bard's city. So here is our pre-human contamination city blueprint. We have this same nice big flat area here. We have our interchange here. I'm going to try to get fancy with this because Bing mentioned that. But yeah, we're basically going to build a big old circular city, and then we're going to see what happens. So I'm going to get right to it. Okay, so here is our basic city layout. It probably looks pretty familiar because we did get a lot of similar specifications. Here is what we've got going on. So we have the outer ring. It's a 6-lane, 2-way highway specifically recommended by Bing. I keep forgetting. That goes the whole way around the city. That's kind of like our collector, if you want to call it that. What's interesting, though, is that I asked Bing a couple more questions about the inner rings, and it said I should do alternating direction one-ways. So what we have here, these inner 4 rings and then this innermost roundabout, we have, so these are 6-lane one-way roads that kind of filter traffic all the way around the city, but they go in different directions. Like this one is counterclockwise, then this one is clockwise, and then the roundabout is counterclockwise. So I don't really know what that's going to do, but we shall see. Then I added the kind of radial roads. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 8 of them. And then the diagonal thing, I don't really know what it meant. So I just basically took like the 2-lane road and I just made these random connections that probably are just going to horribly ruin the city's traffic. But I got a little creative, made some overpasses going on here. We'll see what happens. And now I am just going to do the zoning. So we're going to follow its sector rule, and we're going to try to do like northern corner, southern corner, and then western over here and eastern over here. Kind of delineated by these roads here. And then, just like in the other videos, we're going to let it run and see what happens. Okay, so I have followed the stipulations of Bing as best as I can here. We have our mixed use, like commercial and residential sector up here. We have our more industrial focused with some commercial here. And then we have our low and high density residential as well as some parks and stuff down here. And then we have our agricultural, so it's like semi-industrial, semi-residential over here. I also just made these residential for the heck of it. We're going to see what happens here. I am basically just going to position the camera here. I'm going to let this thing run until it stabilizes, and then we're going to do a full breakdown of how well this city handles itself. So here it is, the city that I have so affectionately dubbed Bing-Bong-Land. I have let this run for far longer than any of the other cities that we've built with AI. One of the reasons for that is I really wanted this one to like stabilize and to reach kind of a natural equilibrium. And we've kind of reached that, and it actually filled out very nicely. We'll get into what the city does well and doesn't do well in a minute, but just from a visual aesthetic standpoint, it looks pretty cool and like futuristic. And it's crazy how it just kind of ends and then there's just forest. But without further ado, let's have a look at this city. Let's see what we got going on. So you'll remember what Bing stipulated. We basically have this really interesting circular city design, similar to what Google Bard picked. We also have kind of the city is divided into quarters. So we have this quarter, which is the east quarter, the northern quarter, western quarter, and southern quarter. And what happens with each of these quarters is that there's kind of like a mixed use thing going on. So here we have like a heavy industrial quarter. This is primarily residential. There's some commercial in there too. And then this bottom quarter is like parks, leisure, and a little bit of residential. And then this is mixed commercial and industrial. So what's actually really interesting about this city that Bing stipulated, so I asked it a couple more questions about these roads, right? We have these really weird one-ways that are alternating in circles from the center. I did not do a good job of explaining that, but you can see right there what they are. And so if you look at the population, we've stabilized at about 24,000 people. Well, 23.5, but yeah. So let's have a look at our traffic for starters. Now you'll see, you'll see these two roads here. I tried some strategies to kind of mitigate this because no matter what, no matter how well designed it is, if you have a single entry point for a city of 24,000 people, it's going to get congested. Not much you can do about it. But what I did do, and this is kind of just me doing things instead of like being actually recommending it, I took this highway or this off ramp here, which is I believe it is a 6 lanes one way, and I added this kind of like bypass ramp thing into the city here, with the end result being now this is just congested. But besides the entryway to the city, which again, this is probably my fault and not Bing's, we have a couple congested intersections. Of course, the center roundabout is congested. But overall, not too bad. It's difficult to say how the one-way roads kind of affect the flow of traffic. I'm sure that there is a more in-depth analysis that we could do, but for how big of a city it is, it seems like traffic generally flows pretty well. I think that if I were to connect these roads up, it probably would alleviate those issues. So actually, while we review the rest of the city's characteristics, I am going to go ahead and just connect these up. And we'll see if by the end of our other reviews, if things have gotten any better. And yes, sorry random people, I am bulldozing your houses. Note that these are only entries to the city. The exit to the city is not congested. Okay, so then we're going to look at one of the biggest problems this city has. We're going to look at pollution. So obviously, this is one of the drawbacks, one of the flaws of Bing's plan, of these mixed use sectors. So there are parts of the city where Bing told us directly to mix industrial and residential areas, and while I tried to buffer some of them with commercial zones, you can see that in these sectors in particular, like this is a residential building that's abandoned. These those are commercial, but these are residential buildings also that are abandoned because the citizens are sick. So one area that Bing did not do super well on is mitigating pollution. And as far as noise pollution goes, similar thing. Obviously, this southern quarter is the place to be. We got lots of parks, got lots of high value residential. And that's also reflected in the land value, which you can see here. So this is like the nicest part of the city. And then let's look at what other things we have here. Yeah, so leisure. So again, one of the flaws of this plan, by locating all of the leisure activities in one quarter, only those people get to take advantage of these beautiful parks that I've built here. So obviously the rest of the city does not have that good of leisure. I did put a stadium in the northern quarter, because I believe Bing told me to do that. I'm not sure. I don't remember actually. And as far as libraries go, yeah, in this northern quarter. The other thing that's interesting is public services like education. Yeah, education. So, placing these kind of where Bing told me to, we have pretty good coverage. I added some after the fact because there was a clear deficiency as the city grew. High schools, same sort of deal. Universities, there are 2 in the primarily residential sectors, and there's only 1 library. Probably should have fixed that, but I did not. Healthcare system obviously is strained because of the industrial being within the city and making people sick. Imagine that. And finally, what is this? Oh yeah, we have crime. So crime rate's pretty low. Crime is reasonable. Interspersed basically 1 police station per quarter, and then a larger police station on the exit. So basically you take the criminals right out of the city and you put them in jail. But yeah, let's look just real quick at outside connections. Yeah. Oh, look at that. Interesting. These map modes are so cool. Every time I play this game, I'm like, I wish I knew how to use these interfaces better. And I'm trying to get better at it. But if you guys have any tips, feel free to leave them in the comments because I'm still learning for sure. But yeah, this is Bing's city. So overall, while I did let this run... Oh, there's a fire. Oh, no. Perfect timing right at the end of the video. Oh, that might spread. Oh, is that a fire truck? Yeah, okay. All right. Well, let's get a nice overall view before we do the final review. So, Bing City is really similar to the one that Google Bard built. Some notable drawbacks, while mixed use is a great idea, you cannot mix residential and industrial. Bing didn't really explicitly tell me to do that, but it kind of did. So, I tried to follow the instructions as faithfully as I could. Obviously made people sick. What I will say, though, is that Bing's traffic management, at least superficially, appears to be better as far as I can tell. Also, these diagonal roads, again, that's probably my implementation that brings them down more than anything else. What I am going to do in the future now is revisit the other two cities that were built by AI. We're going to compare all three in one video, and we're going to see which one actually takes the cake. We're going to get some key metrics. We're going to compare them to each other. We're going to see which AI is the best city builder. But for now, this is the city that Bing built, the city that I have named Bing-Bong-Land. I hope that you guys have enjoyed this video. Like I said, please do leave me any kind of tips and support. I'm new to this. I'm clearly not very good at this game, as you can tell. But I am enjoying it, and I think it's an interesting angle to take. If you're not already subscribed, you should be, so hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching, and have a wonderful day.